Hey guys, Dave from Rockstar Mechanics. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about how to hire mechanics. It's a question that is very tricky. I get people calling me all the time saying it's impossible to find mechanics. We've tried everything. I promise it's not impossible. It's very hard, but not impossible. I'm going to give you a 7-step process that we use that helps you find mechanics. The very first step, which most people skip, is defining what it is you need. And what I mean by that is start off big and work your way down so that you've narrowed down exactly what it is you need versus what it is you'd like to have. So start by what kind of mechanic do you need? Do you need an auto mechanic? Do you need a truck mechanic? Do you need a heavy equipment mechanic? And then work it down to what shift do they need to be working on? What certification do they need? And when I talk about certification, if you're, say, in Ontario and you need them to have a 310T license to be able to do safeties on their trucks, well, that's a requirement. But it's probably not a requirement that they have Freightliner training on a specific engine. That's probably more of a nice to have. Make sure you know what is required and what is a nice to have, especially because mechanics are in such short supply, you can't afford to be making nice to haves a requirement. Also figure out what shift it is that you need so you know what candidates that are going to be available for this role. No point in advertising for a role that and then finding out that it's really a night shift and half of the guys that you found aren't available anymore. Also the wage range that you have, all those kind of things. You want to narrow that all down, have it written down so that once you start finding those mechanics, you can let them know very precisely exactly what it is that you have available. Second step, very much the hardest step, is finding mechanics. This is where a recruiter, especially Rockstar Mechanics, can really help you out finding these guys. But if you don't have the budget for a recruiter, things that you can do is post a job ad, post it on Indeed or on Google Careers or any of the other free job boards, and see what you can find. Sometimes you will get lucky with this. Not often, though. A lot of times, what you're finding is guys that have just recently been fired, or guys that are available for a reason, or guys that are quitting for whatever reason. Typically, not your best candidates. Um, so, really, networking is where you want to be. And for one step that a lot of people can do is talk to the mechanics that you have in your shop and see about any referrals that you can get. This is a great way to try and find mechanics. You get a whole other video later about how to find mechanics. It's a whole other topic. Step 3, the best mechanics that you've found in that search phase, bring them in for interviews. You ideally want to get a couple of interviews lined up. Sometimes that's not always possible, but bring in as many of the most qualified ones that on paper it looks like, yes, this is somebody that we could hire. You never want to waste your time or their time with someone that they're definitely not qualified, but bring in the most qualified ones for an interview and make sure when you're interviewing, ask every candidate that you interview the exact same list of questions so that you're comparing them against the same criteria. For a list of questions you can use, head to Rockstar Mechanics. We got a list of 27 questions you can ask a mechanic in an interview. These are different than your standard HR questions, which really just won't work with a mechanic. One tip when interviewing, make sure you have a technical person there with you, whether that be a service manager, lead mechanic, or even just one of your mechanics in the shop. They'll be able to tell you right away if the person knows what they're talking about or if they're just talking. Okay, the next step that you have is of those interviews, select the best interview to make an offer. And when you're doing this, sometimes it'll come down to a situation where you only had one candidate, and that's fine. What a lot of clients will tell me is, well, if I only had one candidate, who can I compare them against? And if I can't compare them, I don't want to hire someone. Just you don't want to hire the first person that walks in off the street. And I get that, but at the same time, if you don't, they might go somewhere else. They're in high demand right now. So what I always recommend doing, compare this candidate to the mechanics that you already have in your shop. If they compare favorably, they're probably going to work out well. Next up is making an offer. When you make the offer, do not lowball a mechanic. They have offers elsewhere. They have opportunities. And typically, they're not really into negotiating. So if you make them a lowball offer, hoping that, well, this is going to start the negotiation process and maybe I can get them in at a lower rate, you're probably just going to lose them. Make a fair offer at the highest level that you think is fair. If they accept it, great. But typically you want to make an offer that is a take it or leave it type of offer, something that you're comfortable with. And if they can't take it, well, then they can't take it. At least you made them their best offer. After the offer stage, if they've accepted the offer, stay in constant contact with them. I see so many deals fall apart because after they've made the offer and they're going to start in 2 or 3 weeks, no communication has gone on in between there. Make sure you're constantly calling them. Staying in touch at least once a week. Let them know, hey, your background checks came back, or hey, you're able to bring in your tools this day, or whatever the case might be. Just staying in contact with them, making sure that they know that you care, that you're really hoping to have them there, that you're excited to have them on board. And then the last step is onboarding. Once they get there, make sure that their first day is a good first day. Make sure you're ready for them, you have their orientation paperwork ready, and then it's not a super boring day. A lot of candidates will have had other opportunities and they chose yours. If that first day, week, month, whatever doesn't go well, they're going to call up one of those other opportunities and go there. And it's no good to have gone through this whole process of hiring a mechanic only to have them leave. Well, that's our 7-step process on how to hire mechanics. If you follow these steps and you're still not able to find the mechanics or still need additional help, please feel free to give us a call at Rockstar Mechanics. We're happy to help you out. We are your best solution for hiring mechanics. We work with companies right across North America, whether it's heavy equipment, heavy truck, automotive mechanics. We can help you find your guys. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.